And I think that's my struggle and my issue too with school and just everything. I was coming in there just like upset that I couldn't fit into this narrative and I was never supposed to. And I think that's what I finally learned at the end of it. Like, we're supposed to get up in front of the class and talk about like, how do we want to leave our mark? What is it that we really took from this program? And I was raw. I was like, this program just wasn't really for me. I had to create and make and take out of it what was for me. And what I'm really learning through this whole process is that I can't serve or do anything or give back to humanity, to my community, to anything until I do me first. And when I say I do me, I got to serve me. I got to have not completely healed me, because I don't know if we're ever fully healed. The healing journey is forever. There's always going to be things that are going to make us and break us and tear us down 10, 20 years from now, and we still got to heal and get back up and get through it. So I don't want to say I got to be completely healed, but I got to be secure. There's got to be a level of confidence, security, just like, because how can I go out into the world? How can I be somebody that's out here to, I don't want to say save, I don't want to say rescue, but just serve and be this light in the community if I haven't yet done the work within me?
For questions, comments, and to show your support, visit us on the web at afroempath.com. Gotcha. All right. You know how long I'm trying to get a hold of you?
Why?
Why? Because again, I'm an empath, so I'm like, as soon as I saw your photo, right, your picture with the little Buddha and the incense, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, she's the real deal, man. I could just tell. Seriously.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Like way back, like months ago, or just recently?
When you first joined, whenever the hell that was,
Oh my gosh, it's so awkward. It's like I'm hearing your voice for the first time again. Like, it's weird. So yeah. I'll hear you on the audio, and I'm like, okay, this is legit now.
So what do you think of the podcast? Tell me. I love hearing what people think. Like, do I sound like a fucking nutcase? Because sometimes I'm like, do people think I'm fucking crazy?
I don't think you're crazy at all. Honestly, it's so familiar. It's like everything that you say and your energy and how you come across is very comforting. It's like I already know you. It's a trip. Mm-hmm. But I think for me, the most I gain from it all is just the safety in it. Like, I can relate so much to it, especially the women that come on and, they're talking about their hardships and, just their empathic abilities and, the struggles, what they go through. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, these people actually get it. And it's, it's like this virtual reality outside of my life, because I'm like, I don't get to have that kind of energy and type of people around me, so when I see it or hear it on the podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, if only I could deal with these people in everyday life or work with these people or have these people in my inner circles.
Bingo.
Like, right?
That's exactly it. That's literally exactly why I started this, to really, I wanted to comfort us, people like yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want anybody that felt like me to ever feel alone, you know what I'm saying, or isolated, or that they were out here without people to understand them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I definitely know what you're trying to say.
Because I was feeling that way, man. That's why I started this in the first place. I was like, oh my God, like, just being...
Oh, and that's what gravitated me to it. Like, seriously, I was like, okay. And then Afro-Latino, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, it just spoke to me in so many different ways.
Afro-Latino?
My father's Mexican-American. My mother's African-American.
Gotcha,
I'm like, okay.
I'm similar. Oh, yeah, my father's Puerto Rican. My mother's African-American.
Okay, yeah. Okay. No, I'm just like super nervous because I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh man, it's a trip. But where are you from?
Connecticut.
That's where you're at right now?
Yeah. But that's I've lived here for the majority of my life, yeah. And yourself?
I'm in the Northwest. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Not Oregon, but Oregon.
Gotcha. How's it going up there?
Oh my goodness. It's hard. Even as a 31-year-old woman, like, this is a mostly Caucasian state. I'll say it like that. Like, this is very low percentage minorities, particularly African Americans, and it is very hard just trying to find yourself and your identity here. So growing up, it was always just like, I don't know, going through school and elementary schools, like I'd be the only black girl in my class, maybe even like my whole grade. So growing up in those terms, it just was really hard. Even recently, I went back to school. I got my bachelor's in social work, and going to Portland State, it was like elementary school all over again. I was like, oh my goodness, like being the only African American woman in a classroom of young hippie. Like, Portland is very liberal, very just laid back. Marijuana is legal now. Yeah. So just everybody's just, I mean, it's kind of like that low grade racism, or like that passive aggressive, like people will smile and, like you think they're cool with you, but behind closed doors, like, they're talking about you. And so it's hard. Even people like ourselves, you see somebody and you're like, hey, what's up? And you give them the head nod, and, they may or may not look at you, or they may look away. And so there's not really like that unity and that community here. And I think that, those of us who are trying to build and who are community activists and who are out here, we're trying to come together. And it's really hard. It's really, really hard to find your peoples in Portland. So
yeah. No, I could be wrong, but did you have something called the Grey Panthers or something like that?
No, that wasn't me. No.
Okay, it must have been someone different. Sorry.
No. Yeah. No, it's okay. No, I've kind of taken like a hiatus binge from social media. Like, I don't. That's not my profile picture up now. That's my mother, and I'm just kind of like honoring her, and she's going through a lot medically, and so I'm like just kind of detaching myself from, like, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm on like maybe Tumblr, but I'm just kind of very like low key, and I'll get on and I'll participate in these groups. I do more just like observing. Like, I read, I'll listen, and then there's times where I'm like, I have so much to give and add, but I'm like, can I afford to do that right now? Should I put my energy out there? Because it's kind of crazy. Like, you're gonna think I'm nuts.
Try me.
But I was like, I was like, I had a feeling. It's so weird. I was like, watch me comment tonight, and I had a feeling that you were gonna hit me up. It was kind of weird. And then I seen you, how they'll show you on Facebook, like someone commenting or someone's. Yeah. It'll do a little da da da. I was like, I think this is
trying to comment on my ass. Is this motherfucker trying to comment on me right now? Yes.
But I was like, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Yeah. And then I was like, no, because I think we're on that same page, or that plane of that, like, that energy. Like, you can sense mine and I can sense yours. So it's mutual.
Absolutely. I was waiting. I was like, when the hell am I going to talk to this damn lady? Or when she know?
It's hard.
I know you have something to share that could be beneficial to our audience. You're going to say, and just
I don't know.
Our soul tribe. You know what I'm trying to say?
I'm so scared, because I'm like, I feel like y'all are credentialed in this. Like, I'm still like a newbie.
Hell
like
no.
I'm still trying to.
Hell no, man. Listen. I spoke to many sisters, and we all are all at different stages. You're going to say, because I'll put it this way. This is the way I think of it. Like, some people know deep esoteric things. Some people apply them to their life. Some people have certain gifts, but some people just have amazing stories to share, and they may have gifts, but they're just not ready to share them yet. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
it's so true. Like, I'm still trying to navigate what the gifts are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you what the gifts are, but maybe you, like you're saying, you sense or you can feel something else underlining. I don't know. So I'm telling you, like, there's so much I could give to the group and add and, value and
no, don't worry about
insight.
It. Right now, I'm going to honor what you said. You said you just want to talk first one time just to get the nerves out, right?
Yes, I'm just a nervous wreck.
Don't worry about it. Listen, literally, if I can just comfort you one day so you can like relax and know that you're not alone and feel less crazy in the world, mission complete, right?
No, you're doing a great job. Thanks. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Not a problem.
But yeah, no, it's just a journey. It's just a daily journey. I'm a mother. I have two little girls,
Hmm.
9 and 11, and so like especially being in Portland and trying to instill in them like their beauty and their worth, and just telling them, you're queens, you're powerful, you're spiritual, you could do anything you want in this life. And me being the example, I just kind of ended this toxic 8-year relationship, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like trying to push past that guilt and that shame of, okay, why did I stay in this relationship so long, and what am I teaching my children, and I want them to do better and know better. So it's kind of like I'm really just figuring out life for the first time at 31. I got in this relationship at 23. He was a few years older, but it just was like a very, like when we talk about like narcissism on the page and,
Hmm.
empaths and how we connect, it's so real. I can't even, I don't even know how it happens, but I have this ability or this attraction to like bring in the most like I don't know, this evil, not evil, I won't call him evil, but there's something that they see in you that they can take because we're
Hmm.
givers, because we're light givers, we're just these positive beings. There's something in them that needs to be fulfilled, and I don't know what that is. And for so long I tried to be that light for him. I tried to guide him, and it was like this mama son relationship, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh my goodness, like it took me so long from the age of 23 to 31, 8 years, and he's older than me. He's like 4 or 5 years older, and I'm
Hmm.
just like, why am I still going through this? And it finally just hit a point of like, okay, I can't endure this anymore. And I was just thinking to myself recently, like, why did it have to get to a point of me having to endure that much?
Yeah.
So, that's kind of been like my most recent like shift, is just once you negate from the toxic people, then you start to see this clarity, and life is just better in so many different ways.
Yeah.
It's like seeing for the first time again, I think.
I
So,
heard you saying one thing, one like a quote that I've kept repeating in my mind recently is that you cannot build a relationship built upon sympathy.
oh my God.
Make sense?
It's so true.
That's so hard for us as empaths because listen, this is on a small example, but it's played out so many times in my life. Like there'll be people that want to join the group, but I'll see something like something that doesn't match up with what they're saying. They're saying they're an empath, but something like, for example, they may have like, 20 pictures of themselves. I don't know, like just themselves in like different poses with at this like the same shoot. You know what I'm trying to say? If that
Right,
makes any
right.
sense. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like that's it.
You could just sense it. You can feel
Exactly. You
it.
can sense it. I don't know, I'm not sure that's the right example, but like, like I don't know, like there's
There's
so
a certain quality, and you just
exactly.
know.
You could just
You just
know,
know.
like,
When you're from the community, you just like, when you see somebody, you're like, okay, that's my people. And you didn't
exactly. That's
you didn't
exactly
sense
it.
that.
I was like, the last girl, she was a black girl, one of these black girls that wear blue contact lenses. I was like, listen, I don't care what
Oh
you're saying,
no.
you know. If you're a black
Oh
woman
my
wearing them blue
goodness.
contact lenses, I just cannot do it. I don't care what your damn profile says. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying? Like, things like that.
Yeah.
But the point,
Because there's like a lack of this, what, I can't pronounce
authenticity.
it.
Yes.
Yes, there's a lack of it. Like even though like maybe they are empathic or an
Yeah.
empath,
Exactly. Yeah.
maybe they do have those sensitivities, but
Yeah.
then when it's not easily observed from the surface, and when you're looking in and you see like blonde weave and blue eyes, you're just like, I don't
Exactly.
know if this person is, maybe they're on the level of empathism, but they're not at like this level yet. And I hate to say it like that, like we all have to be at the same level, but I think maybe we are in a place of trying to reach out and seek others who are like-minded and just get it at this pace.
Exactly.
Because
That's
we're
what I.
all,
Yep. Go ahead.
yeah,
That's what I'm trying to do. Because I
we're
listen.
all learners, and we're all educators in the same breath. So,
Exactly. But my thing is at this point, I'm not trying to fix anybody. You're gonna say
no,
I'm
I'm
not
so tired of it.
exactly. So,
Like I just got a bachelor's degree
yeah.
in social work, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, the whole experience was traumatic. I
Mhm.
was like, every day I was like, get me out of here.
What
I
the
don't
fuck
want
were
to
you
be here.
thinking, by the way? Social work as an empath? Are you crazy?
Oh my God. And so it was nurse or social worker, because I've been a CNA. In Oregon, you can get your CNA too. So I have an advancement. I can work in the hospital. And so I get just more medically, inclined, more behavioral. Like I'll do a lot of one-to-ones with people with suicidal ideation, even homicidal ideation, just like very, I hate to say disturbed or mentally ill, because I'm just like, okay, we all got some mental
Yeah.
issues if we really want to be,
I understand though.
particular. But but at the same breath, I was like, you know what, nursing is not for me, because I'm going to push past this political agenda. I'm done with this medical model. I don't want to just shove pills and bill people for them and just patch up their wound and say, come back when you get the right medical. We'll see you next time. Like I just wanted to dig deeper and really help people where they were at. Like, what is it that's bringing you back to the hospital? Is it your home situation? Is it your job? What's going on behind closed doors? Like, I wanted to meet people at the level of preventing them from getting back to the hospital. I was like, why is this person, they're here every 3 weeks. Like, let's really figure this out. So my whole mission was, let's move past nursing, even though it's good money, it's amazing money, especially in the Northwest. But I told myself, it's not about the money. I want to do social work, and I want to give back to my community. I want to serve Portland, the Black community specifically. I wanted to help single mothers. I wanted to help young mothers. I was a young mother. And, coming into the program, they teach it from a lens that doesn't serve what am I trying to say? So if you've been impacted, if you're a minority, if you're African American, woman, male, who's been impacted, they don't teach from that lens. And they couldn't teach from that lens because majority of the school is white, the curriculum is white. It's tailored to a white audience. So the curriculum is structured to help white people help us. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm in the program, and I hate to make this a black and white issue,
because
even
just say it how it is. Fuck that.
But listen, you already know us spiritualists, we're trying to like shift past the whole, I'm trying to like get to that place of, I don't want to sound like Kanye, but I'm just like, I'm trying to really look past it, because I'm like, they've used race against us, like that's what's dividing us. But then we got to be honest and just know, like, no, there's some racist ass like systems, that prevent.
Obviously, and I'll put it to this way: even if that wasn't the case, right? We still, as a culture of people, operate in a different way than they do.
It's so true. It's so true. And so I was impacted. Like, so let me just make a long story short, because I'm very long-winded and I could talk and talk. 90 people got accepted in the cohort, and out of those 90, 2 of us, one which was me, African American women, not males, 2 women, everybody else young, 20s, 30s, everybody mostly white, Asian, a couple Mexicans, but just out of 90, 2 black women. And if I didn't have class with her, I was like, oh my God, I'm alone. And the majority of what we talk about was just structured for them to be like the ally, and how to empower them to like decenter their whiteness and put us at the forefront. And, if there was so much that like coming into it, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of it sounding like I'm continuously being this victim. Like me and my people, like our struggle, and I don't speak for my race, I don't speak for my people, like, so don't put the microphone on me. It was a lot of, well, what do you think, Stephanie? And tell us about this. And it's just like, no. Like, it was just so hard for me to find my place and my voice there, to where there was days I'll just come in and I'm like, okay, I'm just here to do work. And, I really didn't feel empowered in there. I said, there's nothing in this curriculum that's structured around resiliency and that teaches, people that are impacted by these structures how to empower our community. I'm like, I'm still in the struggle. I've got 2 daughters. I'm a single mother now. Like, I'm still trying to break past these systems of control, and it was so much. So there were days where I was like, I'm not feeling this. And I graduated, I got my bachelor's, but it still was just from a place of like that victimhood, teaching the white student how to empower us, but what was there really to give me, as the impacted student? So I found out on my own that I have to just empower myself and give myself those, read Audre Lorde or whoever, just to get that that fulfillment of my people and our greatness on my own. So I think that was the hard part.
So you're still doing this to this day, I take it, yeah? This, like, your social work?
Well, I'm taking a break. I took a break from school. I'm still at the hospital, and I'm like, let me just like breathe, enjoy my daughters, and just I'm staying with my mom right now, who's just needing a lot of medical care. She's in her stage 3 of endometrial cancer, and it's just extremely aggressive, and so I'm trying to like implement my social work skills and my medical skills with helping her, advocating for her, and it's a lot. It's a lot of transition right now, so I'm just all over the place.
Let me ask you though, hypothetically, if you had the resources, like have you ever thought about that? What would you do to help the community in Portland if you were someone that had the reins?
Oh my God! Well, there's so much that's being done that's what I'm trying to do right now, is find my place. Like, where do I want to lift up my community? Where are my gifts? Where are my talents? Like, beyond the empathic spiritual world, like, what can I do for my people? You know what I'm saying? And I think I want to help those who've been in similar situations, like those who've been impacted by domestic violence, like abusive relationships, just taking that whole narcissistic, empathic thing that I went through and turning it into something like, beautiful. Like, okay, what can I give and show others? How can I teach other women not to develop these same behaviors and, fall into that trap of trying to, be here for this man who's obviously wanting to abuse and use you. So I want to give back to mothers who, are needing that help, are needing that upliftance, that counseling, that structure, how to navigate systems and resources, go back to school. And I had to do it on my own. I literally had to just figure it out. I didn't have nobody come over and just say, hey, we're going to help you, So it was, I had to find my place from the ground up, and I'm still doing it. So
I wonder, how does your spirituality play into that in terms of I should ask, how does spirituality period play into helping people? You know what I'm trying to say? Do you feel like that you just have to live it and show people through living it, or for me, I don't know. For me, I do life coaching. Obviously, life coaching and social work are not the same thing in a sense, but in a sense they kind of are. We're still helping people.
Well, they're all connected.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, my thing is you're creating, we all have flaws inside of us. You know what I'm trying to say? Those flaws allow for people that need to teach us lessons to teach us those lessons. You know what I'm trying to say? Because we haven't found that flaw within us yet. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's I think taking responsibility for that flaw which you have in yourself, and I know flaw is a harsh word, but I mean, really, that's the way I look at it. I began to
it's so true.
Really seek out
it's inner work.
Exactly.
First.
Yeah, I began to seek out and almost despise weakness within myself, and
yes.
It's
you know what that is? You know what that is? Is it okay? Is your name, is it Lewis? Am I saying it right?
It's Lewis. Yeah, it's fine.
So Lewis, it is the imposter syndrome, if we want to be politically correct. But it's that second guessing and that not knowing, right? Because when we don't really truly know, I don't know, I'm not going to say our calling or our mission. There's those of us who know it and we come in ready, just wings out, ready to fly in and tackle anything. And then there's those of us who are still trying to dig for the layers and look for the signs and, just experiences and people, places. We're still trying to figure it out. And when there's a gap, or there's just a shift, or it's just not happening the way we want it to, then we start to second guess and feel like it's us. And it's all part of that learning and that seeking knowledge. And there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to just be trials and tribulations. But it's just the getting through it. We got to continue it, because that's what makes us real and authentic. That's why you were able to sense that girl with the blue. This is not authentic.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a level of perfectionism that it's not real. It's not real. It'll never be like 10 out of 10. It's always going to be 9.8. It's never going to be perfect. And I think that's my struggle and my issue too with school and just everything. I was coming in there just like upset that I couldn't fit into this narrative and I was never supposed to. And I think that's what I finally learned at the end of it. Like, we're supposed to get up in front of the class and talk about like, how do we want to leave our mark? What is it that we really took from this program? And I was raw. I was like, this program just wasn't really for me. I had to create and make and take out of it what was for me. And what I'm really learning through this whole process is that I can't serve or do anything or give back to humanity, to my community, to anything until I do me first. And when I say I do me, I got to serve me. I got to have not completely healed me, because I don't know if we're ever fully healed. The healing journey is forever. There's always going to be things that are going to make us and break us and tear us down 10, 20 years from now, and we still got to heal and get back up and get through it. So I don't want to say I got to be completely healed, but I got to be secure. There's got to be a level of confidence, security, just like, because how can I go out into the world? How can I be somebody that's out here to, I don't want to say save, I don't want to say rescue, but just serve and be this light in the community if I haven't yet done the work within me? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I gotta walk the walk first before I can talk the talk. And it's scary.
I mean, are you an introverted person or extroverted person, would you say?
So, okay, the group is INFP or INFJs. Mm-hmm. So I'm always hashtagging like empath or a highly sensitive person, because I didn't get INFP. I am an ES. Oh gosh, is it okay? Extrovert. I got extroversion, sensing. I think I got perceiving. I'm like an ESFP or something. So I'm not an INFJ. And the crazy part is I got 50-50 on the E and I. So like it was in school too, and the instructor was like, you're both. And I was like, is there such a thing? And she's like, yeah, there's people that actually have or can carry both abilities, and it kind of depends on your location, the group of people you're with, like your setting. I can be extroverted when it depends on the energy and just who I'm around, or vice versa.
Yeah, it sounds about right. It says career matches: actor, lawyer, psychologist, human resource.
Oh, human resource.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, when I was younger, I wanted to be in the spotlight. Like, I wanted to sing, I wanted to dance. All my high school electives was like choir and theater, and I was just I always say this too, like I was so just confident back then. Like, I just was like, I didn't care. And I think that's the greatest part of being a youth and being young, is like your third eye is activated and like you don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just ready to live, and they fall down, they get back up, and they're so resilient. And I've literally lately been just trying to narrow down, like, what area am I really ready for? After coming out of this 8-year thing that I was in, which was also with somebody who was very heavily dependent on dependence. I'll just say that. Mm-hmm. My internship while I was in the School of Social Work was working with people with alcohol and drug addictions. And so even beyond my like level 1 phase of martyrism, it was like I stepped it up a notch. I was like, okay, like if I can't save him, I'm about to go out here and work with other people that are like, just struggling with addiction. It just was crazy. And it kind of, I hate to say it, but it put me in a place of like burnout, and I haven't even really fully like grasped the career yet and really been out here. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I think I want to maybe start with kids. Just, a lot of people say like, I can't do kids are wild, they bad, they this. I'm like, no, kids is where it's at. Like, the youth, these kids out here in this generation, they are at a place and a higher up than we ever were 20, 30 years ago. Like, they need us right now, especially with everything that's going on politically and the technology. Like, they need us light workers, like, here for them. So I'm just trying to really figure out like where I want to, help and aid. And I think kids might be next for me. I don't know.
There's a really good podcast. Not sure if you listen to this one, but it's called Empaths, Facing Pain and Finding Purpose. It's with a teacher, mother, and motivational speaker. Did you listen to that one by chance?
No, I don't. I'm about to write that down.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, thank you.
We're done, yeah. Here, I'll just post it now.
I'm sorry if I'm super talkative. I didn't think I was going to get, like, that's what I was saying, like, just a familiarity about you. Like, I'm super nervous because I'm like, you know, I just, the thought of, like, how many other people hearing me, I'm like, oh my God. But just knowing like it's me and you, I'm like, okay, I can get to a place of like calmness, you know.
Exactly.
But,
wow. Yeah. Oh my God. Like I'm thinking to myself, boy, your energy is so high right now. Like, oh my goodness. Like what are you a night owl or what? Like I thought I was.
Oh my gosh. No, I think, you know what it is? Like, I think my comment kind of broke it down, but like, you know, getting comfortable, like hearing your own voice and like hearing yourself be heard and, you know, actually somebody listening to you. Like, I think the hardest part about us empaths is like, we're so just eager and ready to be this light and energy for everybody. And like, that includes just energy suckers. Like there are some women in friendships where I'm like, I can't even get a word in. And here I am, like, I'm over talking Lewis right now. He can't even talk, but no. It's sad. It's sad because I have people in my life or just, you know, in my circles where I'm like, if they don't stop coming with their problems and, you know, you just, they suck so much out of you and they put out all their issues or it's just me. And I hate to say it, but like after so long when you've been suppressed in that way and, you know, just, I don't know, like it takes a toll on you. And like when it's time to really talk and get it out and have that platform, it's, you know, it either flows freely like right now or it's usually the opposite with me. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I
won't really say much.
I could sense with you that you, number one, like, you know, here's a question that I thought about when I first started this podcast. I was like, who heals the healers? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Because who the fuck do we go to? We're always the people that people, you know, run to, right? With their problems.
Always.
But who the fuck knows our problems? You know what I'm saying?
It's sad.
Exactly.
And then what ends up happening is like you might be the one that's an energy sucker. The same type of energy that you're trying to flee from. I've been that too, where I've like, you know, oh my goodness, like I've suppressed so much, and then by the time it actually comes out, the other person's like, oh my God, like damn.
Exactly. And listen, I was picking that up while you were typing.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you? Okay, break that down.
Well, I wrote it there. I said, hold on. Well, actually, I was a lot nicer than that, obviously, but I was like, I could just sense that you needed to speak to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're good because
I am good.
Yeah, I mean, I read through everybody's, like I was, you know, just trying to break and analyze everybody down. And there was one gentleman in there that was like, something, I don't have an identity. Let me pull it up. Like, that was really powerful. I was like, you know what? I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
Or you try to match other people's energy or you pick up other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's per se, like, I don't have an identity, but I think we're just empaths. Like, I don't know why. We're so intuitive, and like I could walk into a room. Like, here's a perfect example. Like during my internship, I think I was putting together like this 6-week, it was called Cultivating Culture, and we were trying to get together a group of men and women and just teach them like healthy techniques of cooking and preparing food and shopping, how to budget with their food stamps, you know, just trying to be more frugal and, you know, everything. And I had to go into this men's group, maybe 50, 60 men, and you know, I'm telling the counselors, like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, they all know me. They're like, Steph, you're going to be fine. Like, everybody loves you. You're wonderful. And I go in there and I walk in and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like 25 cats got my tongue. Like, I can't even speak. I had to like go to the bathroom, take a deep breath, just re-energize and recharge. And by the time I get back in there, I could feel like everybody's energy. Like I could just pick up, this guy had a rough day. I could feel it all over his body, all over his face, his facial expression. I could feel this one over here. He's depressed. Like, it was just so much coming at me. And like, I kid you not, I never read verbatim off of a piece of paper. I'm very like, I can just articulate whatever and jump in and ad lib. And it was crazy. I just was like reading off the paper and totally detached because I was trying to block myself from that energy, and I'm like, oh my God, here it is happening again. Like, I can't even be present. What is that? Is that a mental health thing? Is that a spiritual thing? Is that a empath thing? Like, what is that?
Sister, let me ask you this. How is your meditation game, my dear?
My meditation game, it needs a little help.
Yeah, I can tell.
It has. How can you tell?
What do you mean, how can I tell?
Why are you saying that?
I'm an empath, so it means I just know. Like, okay, I'll tell you exactly why. Number one, okay, so I feel as an INFP, right? I mirror people's emotions. Does that make sense? So what I do is I literally put myself in your energetic shoes, right?
Okay.
So I've meditated for over 7 years now.
You're
no
expert.
No friends. No girlfriend, right?
Okay.
Just me being alone by myself, right? In the most peaceful environment I could possibly have, right? So that's the energy that I have, right? So when I jump into your emotional body, right? I just feel like this, like, like you're just like screaming, what the fuck do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, and that's what I was trying to break down on that thing. Like, there is this level of combustion, like this irritation.
Exactly.
And maybe that is just a sign of like needing to, just recheck everything, meditate.
You need to understand. Yes, you need to learn how to center yourself, because guess what? There's hard. A part of you that's wanting to be something, right? That's wanting to be something for it's a good drive to have, until you realize that this world is a place for everybody to experience pain and to learn spiritual lessons, right?
Right. Does
that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's why I was like, I can't do no live. Like, because I know this within myself too. Like, to be intuitive of others is to definitely be intuitive with self. Like, I know this of me, and it's something I really want to work on. I gotta make it happen,
Yeah, but I'm saying in terms of the career you're looking to take, or that you may take, or that you're at least training to take, I'm saying that eventually, as you would go in it, right, and you're having the want to help people on a deeper level than they're training you to do, correct?
Right. Oh, most definitely.
Exactly. Right. You're wanting to be the spiritual rock for these people, and to really, really, you see yourself in them, and you want to, change lives, right?
Something like that.
Exactly. Now,
yes.
I can only imagine that with your last husband or boyfriend, or whatever, you want to probably do the same thing for him, no?
Yeah, it was like a rescue. Like, I remember even getting drunk with this man, like a couple months in, and telling him, like, I'm your angel, and I'm sitting here,
you know what that
like
is?
some weird shit.
You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. But you know what that is, really? You know what that is? You know what the word is?
That? It's.
What's the word?
It's a okay. Number one, it's a codependency. That's the terminology from school. Yes. My auntie calls it martyr, whatever. And then I was reading this book recently, and it broke it down. It was like, co-alcoholic, because he was definitely alcoholic, but it, like, this willingness to suffer, like, there's a willingness to suffer. And I was like, oh my God. And I gotta read that book again, but it broke it down perfectly. Like, there's this openness and this willingness that says, my heart is so big, and I love so much that, like, I can take it all, and I can bear it all, and I have this, like, I can do it. I can push through.
That's exactly it. I thought the same fucking thing. All right. So listen,
You thought that too?
of course, I'm saying it as someone that's experienced it, not someone that's looking at you like, I've been through that. And here's what I thought. I thought, you know what? My love is so grand, and it is. Right?
Yes.
I said that my love is so grand that if anybody can help this person, I can do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I realize is that ultimately they have free will and I have free will.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So no matter how strong my will is, they have their own free will to change and grow at their own pace, and if they want to, or if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to do is push my will upon them, which is to heal and grow. Right. Because what I've realized ultimately is that I was afraid to be alone by myself, to go inward and do it within myself.
Oh yeah, it's an escapism.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to be alone, but what you'll find through meditation is that ultimately is that God is an eternal friend. You know what I'm trying to say? And then as you become more centered in that, right, which is just your own soul, right? Then the wanting to help everybody is lessened, because you realize ultimately is that people don't know by being told. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't go around telling people something and expecting them to get it. Let me ask you, in your life, how often has that ever worked?
Oh, hardly ever. Never.
Thank you. Not once, ever has it.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So man, here's a quote that I learned, and it's a very hard quote to put into practice. But if you can remember this one and just sound it out next time you have those feelings, man knows not by being told, right?
Right.
If that was the case, we wouldn't even be on Earth. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so the thing is, like, we all have to learn through pain. That's how we learn as people. That's how we grow. Right. It's the greatest teacher. So people in their lives, everywhere, every day, are playing out their lessons. And who are you to stop them from experiencing that lesson?
Exactly.
Right.
Even in social work, it's like that was another big lesson. It was like, I can't show them the way. I can provide the tools. I could say, like, here's a resource. This is what you could do. But I can't paint that picture or write that narrative for them to follow. Like, ultimately, they have to find it within themselves.
Exactly.
And it's so true.
Exactly. So what you do is you learn how to love through giving knowledge. You learn how to love out of principles and not through the giving of your emotions. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Very much.
Right. Just like we're talking now, right? I'm giving you a principle to live by, as opposed to just like if I was maybe one of your girlfriends. Yeah, girl. Yeah. No. I'm not gonna sit there and listen to you and just if I have a principle to give you, that principle will never change. How you feel or how I feel about how you feel can change from day to day. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So when you learn principles and you learn to live by them, then it makes it hard. It makes it a lot easier for you to not get like caught up in people's emotions and be dragged down.
Right.
And I find that a lot of us go into these type of fields and are disillusioned with the bureaucracy of it all. But really, like, I mean, this world itself is, I can put it. This world has never been perfect. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's never going to be perfect. Exactly. So, and I know for me personally, I've spent a lot of my years banging my head on a concrete wall trying to make this society better, until I finally surrendered and realized some deep metaphysical truths. That the only thing that is real is the soul, right?
Very much.
So that's the only thing that really can be saved. I'm trying to say, because I was trying to save Black people. I talk about it a lot in the podcast, like how I was busy. And ultimately, I realized, you know what, like, nations rise and fall, nations change, and they transmutate and things like that. I'm going to say, like, ultimately, the only thing that can be saved, really, the only thing that's eternal is the soul.
Self.
So exactly,
in soul, yeah.
Exactly. So I can't. There's no way for me to actually do that with putting a bottle in the baby's mouth. That makes sense.
Right.
That baby may grow up to be Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I'm trying to say? And here I am nursing his ass to health. Right. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
no, it's so true.
Exactly.
It's so
there's a certain, when you have a certain esoteric understanding, and it comes at the cost of pain,
Very
So
much.
really, what you're doing by seeking that, by finding that pain through your relationships, these narcissistic relationships, is really just a higher understanding of yourself through that pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is playing that out. Some people are learning it slower than others. Some people are learning it faster than others. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 34. Yeah, I'm 34. So I've let my pain teach me pretty well. You know, compared to my mother or my father. You know, so I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
good. Um, but I mean, most people are not going to reach a state of enlightenment, you know, ever in their life.
Right.
And if you were to try and latch on to them energetically to help them, then you would be drained. You know, so ultimately, I think meditation is important so you can stay centered in this illusion while people are playing out whatever their soul needs to have play out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, very much. Yeah, it's. I think that's why I'm taking this break. I have so many school friends. Just they've either jumped into the master's program or they've already found their job, and everyone's hitting me up like, Steph, what you doing? What you got going on? And I'm like, girl, it's Netflix and manifestation. It's chill time. Like I'm centering myself on just trying to find an inner peace. Like I haven't really
How are you doing that?
meditated this week. Just specifically, I like went to a nature trail and just walked and just listened to like the trees, just put my feet in the ground, like in grass, in dirt, just sat there, let the sun graze me, read a book like through and through, listen to music, just like try to have that isolation and that silence. And you can feel like the difference, like when you have this time for yourself and you're away and you're in nature and you
Of
come back
course.
into a crowded room, you can feel the shift.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just keeping that same peace that I had in this setting within me when I transfer over here to the
Correct.
work setting or
Correct.
with the kids or whatever.
Yes.
And it is so hard because I can find it over here.
Yes. So you're
It's just, yeah.
you're subject to being in a different environment, or you're subject to environment. That's why
Yeah,
meditation is so crucial.
I know it. I need
Have
to get back
You
into
need to
it.
get back into it. I mean, I've talked about it in the podcast before, but I mean, I teach it in life
Hmm.
coaching. But I mean, ultimately, for me, like studying Hermetic philosophy is invaluable for me. I'll send you a link to that. We have it on our Facebook group. But basically, you've heard like the law of attraction and all that, right? The
Oh
whole
yeah.
well,
Oh
basically
yes.
that is just a cornball new age term for a deeper like philosophy that came out of ancient Egypt called they call it the Hermetic principles, but basically it's just the laws of Tahuti or Thoth or whatever they call them. You ever heard of that?
Mhm. I
Basically,
haven't heard of that actually. No.
okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, but basically what it does is you've seen the movie The Matrix, right?
Yes. Uh huh.
So in the movie, Morpheus tells Neo, in this matrix there are laws. Some of them can be bent, some of them can be broken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those laws that they're talking about in the matrix, those laws are the seven hermetic principles.
Okay.
So basically, by understanding that, you understand universal law and learn how to apply that to your inner emotional worlds.
Okay.
For example, one law is called rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything sways in and out. I'm gonna pull it up here so you can maybe look at it as I'm saying it.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, I see it now.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if this. I mean, this may not make any sense to you, like reading it now, but maybe it will. Maybe it'll spark something in your DNA. But basically, these are the seven laws that everything in this universe has to correspond to.
Mm-hmm.
So number one is mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental. So a good thing to think about that is like what you think about, you bring about, or things like that.
All right.
Two, the
Mm-hmm.
principle of correspondence, as above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, as things happen within you, they happen outside of you. Also, as things happen in the stars or the moon, things like that, they also affect you, right?
Right.
The principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Seems pretty self-explanatory. But we talk a lot about vibration as empaths, right? And so how some people vibrate higher, some people vibrate lower, etc. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has its poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All paradoxes can be reconciled. Principle of rhythm. That's what I was about to talk about. The rhythm in terms of your emotions. So everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests itself in everything. The measurement of the swing to the right is the measurement of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. So that means that when you are going out in nature, right, and you're feeling a certain swing of peace, we'll just say, right? Think of your emotions as a pendulum, right? And so you're finding peace in that nature. But when you go out of it, your emotional pendulum begins to swing towards being anxious again. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much.
So sometimes we have good days or and bad days, happy days, sad days. So again, polarity, duality. So you're swinging that pendulum of your emotional pendulum is swinging, right? That's why through being mindful of that emotional pendulum, right? You can begin to center it. You know what I'm trying to say? Through the first law, which is mentalism, right?
Right.
And this is kind of like
conscious, be more aware.
Exactly.
Right?
And this is kind of like this is what the whole process of alchemy is. Basically, it's taking your emotions from one polarity, which is the principle of polarity, and then transmuting it to another polarity. So for example, taking anxiety and then bringing it to peace, taking hatred and turning it into love. It could be anything, right? Now through meditation, we learn how to do that within ourselves. But the whole point is eventually, you want to get that pendulum inside yourself to stay centered. You know what I'm trying to say? So you're not thrown off kilter by being subject to your environment. Does that make sense?
Very much.
So that same peace that you feel when you're out in nature, you can feel when you're in front of those men at that meeting you're at.
I think there was so much attached to that versus just taking on their energy. There was so much. It was like literally I was the only female in there, and there was something about that masculine energy. I think we're coming up on that in this list, but like there was so much masculine energy that I was like, I can't. Like I wanted to run, and I was like, oh my goodness, like
why is that?
It just was. I can't tell you, but it's a whole nother topic and a whole nother.
Your relationship with your father, yeah?
I never had a relationship with my father. I've never met my father. And my mom never really tried to break that down. In fact, as a child, she like lied to me and said like he died. Like just so not fair, and then it took a lot of digging and reaching and just like talk to me, and that goes back to like those generational inner female wounds that just have carried through my family and affected my grandmother, my mother, and then eventually hit me. And it just was like there was a shame or guilt, and even to this day it's still very awkward, and we just don't have that comfort of really talking about it, I guess. Like it's so weird, but I mean that's some layer of what it had to do with like that. And
but let me ask you, when you walk in there, right, are you feeling like, let me ask you this, do you ever feel like you still long for that imprint? Like,
oh, of course. Yeah. Oh my God, yes, all the time. That is something that like I think I don't know, not everybody, I can't speak for everybody, but naturally I think as women, like we need that father, love and that connection, and to feel that safety and, like we're taking care of that little girl daddy. Like and I never had that, so there was that, I think, but then there was where am I trying to go? So I can pick up on like a
Misogynistic.
sexual. Well, yeah, that too. um, there were clients there that just could not hold back in their gaze or just facial expressions, and so and I'm very like, even though I'm so extroverted on the phone right now, like in person, it takes a while. Like I believe that I'm half and half, because it takes a certain energy, a location, like all that. It really depends, and so in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like it just was super awkward. And I could look at certain individuals, certain men in the room, and I could tell like they were ostracizing me sexually. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so uncomfortable, So there's that. But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could kind of sense that even when you first said it,
How did you know? Empath. But beyond that, like, how did you know?
How did I know? I just imagined it. I don't know. Something about your aura seems like it's an aura that a man would want to consume. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's the biggest thing. Like this whole journey, it's just, even though I'm trying to do the social work thing, I'm also like trying to obtain the resources myself. Like I never really looked at my relationship as a domestic violence related thing. I was like, okay, well, he never physically went there, but it was everything else. It was emotional, it was psychological, it was financial, it was just everything that I think society, like there's this image of domestic violence, like we think the man has to be physically hurt, and no, there's so much more that goes into that. And I had a friend recently that was like, Steph, like I want you to go and look into some things, like go talk to a counselor, and just breaking that down. I think that's also what walking into that room, it was so overpowering, and so much emotions came over me, and I was like, I can't do this right now. Like I can't be in a room with these men when I know that like this man that I deal with outside of here is toxic for me. Like I can't be present for you guys right now. There was just so much tied into that, and I think it came
that's what we do as empaths, right? I've broken this down on one of my lectures before, but we play out a lot of the shit inside of our emotions in the waking dream, which we call life. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
That's what meditation's for. Meditation is so you can actively do it yourself, right?
Right.
That's what I teach, how to actively go in and do it yourself. Because if you don't do it yourself and learn how to become lucid in the dream, right, then you're gonna play it out in the waking state when you go out in your everyday life. I was speaking to a sister and telling her how I would. And we do this a lot in the grocery store, right? Because it's a public arena. I used to go to the grocery store, and I would be afraid to walk too close to a white woman. And
oh God.
It's not that a white guy would be like, hey, like, what are you doing? It's just that in my DNA somewhere through generational trauma, there's been so many instances where black men have been killed for maybe a glance or maybe, just little subtle things. You're going to say, so somewhere in my DNA, that was playing itself out in the grocery store. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Were you cognizant of that then, like in that moment?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I had to do inner work right there in the store. You know what I'm trying to say? To like, it's like, I guess just self-talk. You know what I'm trying to say? Lewis, like you need to stop right now because you're overthinking this. You need to just focus on something different. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, see, yeah. I want to get there because I can get there. It'll be like, if that was me, it would have been after I left the store, got in the car, got home, and it was like, oh my goodness, like Steph, you should have just reevaluated and looked at it from there. Like to do that in the moment, it does require that, like that mindfulness technique and just being able to, understand your situation, your breathing, all of that. Like, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling? That body scan. That just I'm familiar with it because this was a group that we had in the internship that I was at. So like I took a few courses and I was like, this is so powerful. And meditation has worked for me. It's just like I keep saying, finding the time, which is just
bullshit,
crazy excuse.
Just bullshit. Just call it what it is. Bullshit. If you have time to breathe, you have time to breathe slowly, correct?
It's so true.
Thank you.
It's
There's
so
no
true.
excuse ever.
I'm
Ever.
trying to be mindful now. Like even now I'm like, okay, like, you know, just be calm, like speak lower. I don't know if you could feel the shift, but I've tried to like bring it down a few notches.
Yeah, a little bit. Mainly
A
because
little bit.
I'm helping you. Yeah.
You're helping me. You
Yeah.
are. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if you're recording this, but if you are,
Yeah.
you know, when you go back and you can hear the difference. Like that hyper, like talking loud, like that's the anxiety, you know,
I
and it can
know.
be a very positive, like the energy is always good. Like even when I'm anxious, nobody can tell. Like if I've told people in the past, like, oh my gosh, I was so nervous, and they'll be like, Steph, like, how can you're so outgoing. I'm like, girl, please, like I wanted to run. You know, and I think the giggles and like I'm smiling now because like that's a defense mechanism technique. Like I constantly smiling. People are like, oh, she's so happy. And I'm like, no, not maybe, you know, maybe in this moment, but it's just a way of like guarding
The
I don't
hurts,
know.
the pains, the anxiety, that the inner turmoil. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get me.
I get you to the degree that I get myself. Right.
Right.
And I get myself
Right.
very well. And we're not, you know, the thing is that truthfully, who you are, you're a beautiful soul, by the way, but
Thank you.
you're really not a mystery. Truthfully.
Am I not like there's
No, you're not a mystery.
damn it, I wanted to so be a mystery.
You're not a
Yeah,
mystery.
really.
You're not a mystery. What?
I'm really not. And if you met me in person, oh my gosh, because you know the eyes are the window to the soul. Like my like looking into my, and I'm always trying to wear my shades, especially in the summer. Like I don't want you looking at me. If you see me and you look into my eyes, like you will, oh my God, I'm an open book. I really am. People know. People can read my energy, and even if I don't think they're empath or clairvoyant or whatever, like people can see it because it's just so I'm very raw.
Exactly.
Very raw.
But the thing is, you need to
Vulnerable is
you
the
need
word.
to well, you need to strengthen who you are at the core and at the soul level, right? So there is no more fear, no more anxiety, and become a force, right? I'm trying to say, to become
I
a
do.
force of, like, when you walk into that room with all those dudes, then you need to just command it. You just need to command that, but you can't be commanding when you're still working out inner turmoils. Does that make sense?
It's so true. And to
Exactly.
put that pressure and then that expectation, I think produces just more anxiety.
Exactly,
And more
because you're trying to be something that you're not really you might be on the external level. You know, here you have reached this qualification. You can now go out into the world and do this. But internally,
Oh,
you haven't worked
right.
out the things that really are going to make you
No.
a fully developed, self actualized human being yet. You know?
Before I can even put SW at the end of my, no, it's not.
Exactly.
I'm not there yet. Yeah. But I will be.
You will be. Oh yeah, sure. This is no. I mean, like, number one, I'm an empath. I'm a helper too. Every say so, I'm like, boy, I'm
Yes.
like, I mean, I'll share. I mean, I don't know, this hermetic philosophy thing. Like, it's so important. Like, obviously, read it, but the whole thing is,
Yeah, we didn't get all the way through. Let's see.
yeah. Well, the last two things is cause and effect. So basically, for every cause, there's an effect. For every effect, there's a cause. Everything happens in accordance to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. That's an important thing to remember. That there's really no that chance is but a name for a law not recognized. And when I say law, one of these 7 principles, right?
Right.
So everything that, like, again, this world's an illusion. It's a dream that we're playing out, right? So your life is going to be a reflection of your internal world all the time. No. So everything that happens, everything you're feeling, everything you're thinking, there's no chance behind it. You know, everything that, you know. So it's like, when you understand that, then you can begin to really reclaim your power. You know what I'm trying to say, by taking responsibility for your inner worlds. You know what I'm trying to say?
Can I ask you how long, like where, like when did you just, how did you get to this point that you are? Like how long did it take, I guess, or just your journey? Like, how did it get to this point right now that you're
Roughly,
able to?
yeah, yeah. That's a good question. Because trust me, I was a fucking emotional wreck. You know, worse than you.
Okay.
Worse.
Oh,
You're not. You're not. You're no. You're not. You're not. You're not an emotional wreck. I mean, compared to how I was. Now listen.
okay.
I thought I was going to fucking jail for 7 years.
Mm. Uh-oh.
Right. The
Okay.
anxiety of that. Your damn near feel like your whole life is gonna be lost.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
over a cop saying that you assaulted him when he really assaulted you, type shit going on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Exactly. I was scared. I was not scared to lose my life physically, but I was scared to lose my life in terms of its potential to help others, and I couldn't do
Right.
that in a jail cell.
Mm.
You can say so. I
Yeah.
was riddled with anxiety,
It
and
consumes you.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And so I had nothing but I couldn't turn to anything else. I was on house arrest. I couldn't go anywhere. I had nothing but to do but to just sit there and meditate. And so that's what I did. I sit there and meditate and I face my anxieties head on. Um,
Mm.
Now, when I first read this philosophy, this Hermetic philosophy, I knew exactly from the moment I listened, the moment I read it, that exactly how to apply it to my inner worlds. The moment I read it, so this is obviously something I've done in many past lives.
Mm.
So um, I wonder, as I say it to you, does it make any sense to you in terms of how this would apply to your inner worlds?
Oh, yeah. Like everything, this is not the first time hearing it, especially like, everything that's connected to vibrational energy, everything's mental. Like, I've heard these things and I've articulated these things in my own breath to my children, to my clients, to myself, but just in different ways. And so this just serves as a reminder, I guess, and just putting into terms of, now here it is, an actual like guideline. Like, look at this and refer to this. But these are all inner knowings that I just need to finally like do, instead of just saying like, I'm doing it or I need to get back to it. It's just like, no, like this is, here it is.
Correct.
There's no more escaping it. Lewis just sent you it's like, here it is, so
Yeah.
it's just no more
Yeah.
excuses.
Exactly. So my love, by the way, is very tough. You know what I'm trying to say? That father energy.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people that are seeking that father energy find me because they didn't have that discipline. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
So like the way I love you is not a way like I empathize with you and I just feel what you're feeling. No, I love you like you need to do this. You know what I'm trying to
Mm.
say?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take some deep breaths because right now we're gonna do some alchemy.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any little bit of anxiety that you have, let's take a deep breath through our nose, right? And hold it. Yeah. And as you're holding it, feel your anxiety. Feel your heart pounding, right? Feel your nervous system. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're ready to release that breath, yeah, through your nose. Take your time. When you're ready, do another one through your nose. Again, feel your heart, feel your nervous system, feel the tension rising,
Mm-hmm.
and let it out through your nose. Right? And if you want, you can envision the tension coming up through your chest and down through your feet and out, right? To the floor. If you want to imagine like roots, that helps too, I find. And we're gonna do it one more time, yeah? Through your nose. Good. You feel the tension releasing as you breathe out through your nose, and you feel the
Mm-hmm.
grounding effects.
Oh my gosh, that was so necessary. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just crazy how even just breathing can like, yeah,
This is that nature everywhere you
this is
go.
that, right?
Everywhere you go.
Thank you very, very
Not a
much.
problem.
Like you don't even know what you did. So, um, yeah, it's powerful, you know, and it's just it serves as that reminder that I was saying, like, I know all of this, you know, it's
Yeah.
not even um a question of discovery anymore. It's like it's embedded. It's there's still that running away, or that like that escapism that we talked about. Like there's
Yeah.
something there that,
You know what it is,
and I keep
sister?
like,
You need to know that you're worthy of being loved and that you're worthy of finding peace in your life. Does that make sense?
right,
Somewhere you didn't have a father to tell you that,
makes
right?
right,
Unfortunately, a lot of fathers are not in black households. Yeah.
right.
And they're seeking something outside themselves at some level, right?
Hmm.
I feel that a lot of times people need permission to find peace. You know what I'm trying to say?
We really, like, seriously,
Yes,
we demand, we ask for it. We're like, please, we're on our hands and knees. Just somebody say that it's okay, because
exactly.
it's so hard to just be able to like take it.
There's really nothing to seek in this. If this world's really an illusion, right? If we're really spiritually, spiritual people, and this world's really an illusion, then
Hmm.
what exactly are we seeking in it to make us happy outside of ourselves, outside of our souls, which is God?
That's a good question. I think we all want to be validated. And I don't know if that's ego. I don't know if there's just a feeling of like wanting to be right, or wanting to get it right, you know?
From who though? You know what I'm saying? Like your friends?
Right.
You have friends? See, that's one of your issues. You probably have friends. You're an extrovert.
Oh God, no. See, that's the introvert. Hold on, I'm in my car.
Yeah.
That is the like that's kind of where I'm at in my journey. Like I'm done with you know, the extra opinions, the negative comments, the negative energy, like the just all that. So like that's back to the comment where I was like, you know, trying to get used to the silence. You know, it's powerful, but it's also like, dang, it's super quiet over here. You know, but
All right, sis. You're probably ready to take off here, yeah?
oh no, I'm okay. I'm just like I'm sitting in my car. It's getting a little hot. I had to put the window down. No, I just want to say thank you. Like this whole thing was so powerful. It's just I'm slowly getting there. Like we talked about earlier, like the journey is different for everybody. And I think there's a level, like I didn't really go too deep into my mom's issues, but I think I'm angry and I'm trying to like make peace with the universe and the journey. But you know, just seeing where she's at in her cancer journey, like there's so much tied into like right now in my life, and I know that I'll get there. It's just it's a process and
Why are
it
you
takes
angry?
time.
Fuck that. Tell me.
I don't like, okay, so my mom a year ago, like she was on her plant-based diet, like veganism, just feeling herself, dropped like 40, 50 pounds, just like I've never seen her so healthy, so happy. Her light was back. She went at the age of 63, went and got like her first tattoo, which turned into her seventh tattoo, like just wilding out. I'm like, who is this woman?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like super free, doing all the things she never got the chance to do when she had all of us. And you know, as of this last year, we've battled just so much. She went in for routine PAP, and you have stage 3 uterine cancer. And it was like, oh my God, like, wow. You know, she had missed one 6 months prior. I think she's at the age where she goes like, you know, frequent. And she's like, oh my goodness, like how? And the rate it was at, the aggressive stage 3, they were like, we got to get you in, get the hysterectomy. She had a full hysterectomy, robotic, laparoscopic surgery where they went in and, you know, remotely did everything, took it out. And it was supposed to be like just a 6-week healing. and it manifested into this horrible, very rare infection that like took over. It was almost kind of like this flesh eating. The term for it is pyoderma gangrenosum, and it the site where she had her surgery, the open sores, they didn't I guess sew up. I guess they leave them open to air, and those areas got infected. And so the site had grew from like this little inch to like this huge, like it looked like I could put my whole fist in her. I'm sorry if I'm getting gruesome, but I could put my whole fist in her stomach area. And the 2 sites out of the 4 just grew to where like 80% of her abdomen was just this sore. And finally, when they went in, they did these back-to-back wound debridements. They were getting out all the necrotic tissue and dying skin and just everything. And by the time it was complete, they had to go in, do a skin graft. So this is pushing back all of her chemo, because even after they got the full hysterectomy uterus out, like they were like, there's still cancer in there. Push back her chemo. She finally does chemo after getting the skin graft. Just so much, and here she is, like we just finished her 7th cycle. They told us like a week ago that her cancer was gone. And we're like, oh my gosh, like we're celebrating. And I'm just like, okay, we got to go back and do the radiation consultation, but, they're going to tell us that you're good because the CT looked good. And the doctors were like, well, because of the stage that she was at, in the aggressive state, it was, we recommend that she does radiation. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like here it, like there goes that disruption of peace, right? Like the whole, like, why do we have to go through that? Just like that anger. And my mom is just so like, where she's at in her peace and in her knowing, and just like, baby, like God's got us, like he's got me, the universe is, this is all happening, but like it's an experience, like I'm gonna be fine. Like she's just so pure and calm to where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want to rub off my anxiety and my issues on her, but I know it's inevitable and it happens. But I think that's where this disruption, like it's still not mine, like it's everything else. Like if I really could break it down to you, Lewis, I could tell you, like, honestly, like I'm probably at my best. Like I've gotten out of this relationship. I graduated college. Like my girls are thriving. I'm trying to save for a house. Like I'm doing all these good things for me. But at the end of the day, in the way that I've expanded and stretched myself to be available, like, that's my mother. I'm gonna be here for her. But I think it's that pressure of being present for her and being like a consistent positive, like, trying to match her energy, which is really hard,
What are you afraid of? Be honest.
I think I'm like deep down in the very core of me, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose her. And I don't even want to put that in the universe. Like I'm mad that I even said that right
now.
No,
stop this putting it out to the universe. She's gonna die when she's gonna die. It has nothing to do with you.
Right. I know.
You don't, like this. Now, you'd have to get that out of your chest. Get that off your chest. Seriously, you're carrying weight.
I had to get that out.
You did.
Before I hung up, I was like, let me just, because I think that's where, this is her birthday weekend. Like, the family just got together today, and, just trying to be here for her, and
be at peace with that, right?
And be at peace with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be at peace with that, right?
Right.
Exactly. I mean, we all come into this world, right? Which, by the way, is not heaven, right? This world's more like hell than heaven, right? We go through our experiences, and guess what? We get to get the fuck out of here at some point, right? So when she gets to get the fuck out of here, you should be goddamn happy, right? Now, you're not alone. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, no matter what, you got two beautiful children now. And if the more you meditate, the more you'll become closer to God and find inner peace. You know what I'm trying to say?
I knew we were going to go right back to meditation. I was like, he's going to tell me to meditate.
Exactly.
It really is the answer, because it's still going to allow me to not detach myself, because I'm
to center yourself.
but just to center. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's all
In the process of life, right?
very much.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm giving you all my problems right now.
I don't
I'm
give a
like,
damn.
no.
Listen, I'm helping heal you so this whole damn universe can vibrate better, right? When you're
Oh,
off, the universe is off. Does that make sense?
makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope you feel better. There's part of me that's like, boy, I don't want to leave you. You do know I offer life coaching, yeah?
No, I did not know that. Like that was. Is that just your main like job? That's what you do, or is that kind of
Yeah.
a side?
It's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that if you I'll put it this way, don't let yourself slip. You know what I'm trying to say in terms of your
Right.
nervous system, right? And your anxiety. You know what I'm trying to say, like
Mm-hmm.
stay on your meditational path. You know what I'm trying to say, and make that. If you can come to the realization that your life experience is going to be a reflection of your inner emotional world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when meditation will be as important as calling your mom to ask her how she's doing. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Because your mom is probably doing fine. It's really you with the anxiety that needs to be validated. You know what I'm trying to say? You're saying is mom, you're still alive.
I'm the cancer at this point. Like I'm the motherfucking cancer.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, God damn, man. She's like,
It is so like.
that's what
Oh
I'm
my
saying.
goodness. Like,
Instead of being anxious and doing something out of anxiety, take that time to meditate and find inner peace. Right. That way, you're not stressing other people out. You know what I'm trying to say?
it's so true. And I don't think I'm giving her the stress. Like I think that's another. That's another anxious thought of mine. Like to not do. Like I don't want to give her the stress because she is just so like she's 64 years old now, and she's like. You know,
But
like
somebody's gonna get it though if you're not transmuting it with yourself. Though I'm saying, yeah.
Some all of course, yeah.
Exactly.
Like it's
Today,
gonna. It's,
luckily, I can handle it, and I can transmute that shit, right? And I'm a professional, but I'm saying, you know,
yes,
shit,
yes.
I wouldn't want to be in the house with you if you know what I'm trying to say, if I don't know.
And that comes back to that like combustion and that irritate.
Yeah.
Like it has to be that grounding and that meditation.
Yes, exactly.
It's a lifesaver, you know, and just
Yes.
getting back into me. Because that's who I am at my core. I am peace, and I am love, and I am light. You know, I'm all these things. So, thank you so much. Like I can't even.
You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. You know.
I can't even.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
If you or anyone you know would be interested in spiritual life coaching from a fellow empath, email afroempath@gmail.com or visit afroempath.com for more information.